Usually does that. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Mason. Tonight is June 14th, 2021. It's 2021. It's time to call our business meeting of council to order. Dan is with us tonight. Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Nelson?
Yes. Here.
Councilmember Chance?
Yes. Here.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Present.
Councilmember Stricula?
Here.
Vice Mayor Gibb?
Here.
Councilmember Hunter Lowe?
Here.
Mayor Grossman?
Here. All right, council, I need a motion to go into executive session for the purposes of acquisition and disposition of property and the compensation of a public employee, please. All in favor? Any opposed? We call the roll.
Councilmember Chance?
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Gibb? Councilmember Hunter Lowe?
Yes.
Mayor Grossman?
Yes.
Councilmember Nelson?
Yes. All right. We'll do our very best to be back at 7 o'clock.
Dan.
Good evening, council. I need a motion to reconvene into regular session.
So moved.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, welcome back, everybody, by the way. Welcome back to us. We were in executive session for about an hour, and we're pleased to be here and to see all of you here in our audience. And thank you to those of you who may be watching us from home or later on ICRC-TV.com. And thank you to Denny upstairs, who works for ICRC-TV. And I just saw his hand wave at us. He takes care of us every week or every meeting with our filming. We have item 4 on the agenda. Pastor Chaplain Bob Myrtle is here. He's part of our chaplain program. Come on up and would you mind praying over our meeting? If you would all stand with us, we'll follow that with the Pledge to Allegiance.
Thank you. Loving and glorious Heavenly Father, we acknowledge your holy presence this evening. We thank you, for you are our infinite source of peace, love, and wisdom. We know that your Holy Spirit guides and directs us. We give thanks for a great nation in the city of Mesa. Thank you for our military, all the veterans, the first responders, the leaders, the schools, the businesses, city council, and all the citizens that make Mesa what it is today. Lord, we entrust to you everything in our lives. In spite of the various challenges we face, we remain steadfast in you because we believe that you will always make a way for us. We ask for a special blessing and hedge of protection around and in our city, especially as we continue through the summer months. Keep all of our families and children safe. We ask that you bless tonight's city council meeting. We ask for wisdom and that you guide the hearts of the men and women assembled this evening. Remove pride and fear and guide them to do what is right in your eyes for the city that they've been elected or appointed to serve. Help them to lead and govern with integrity. All of these things we ask and pray in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you, Pastor. All right, item 6 on the agenda are the minutes for the April 26th council meeting, the May 10th council meeting, and the May 24th work session. I need a motion to approve the minutes. Let's start with the April 26th meeting. I have something on my desk. Is that what this is for? The April 26th meeting? Okay, so can someone explain what we see here? I see some corrections.
Mayor, I can explain. When I was reviewing it originally, there was some errors that I had found, and so I went back and watched it, and I've changed some of it. Like we have the wrong council members voting, proposing things and then voting no for it, so it's just kind of confusing and inaccurate. And I added a couple items as well. This was directly from the ICRC playback.
I'd like to have some time personally to go through this and review it before adopting it.
Okay. Yeah, I want to make a motion to table.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, a roll call isn't needed for that, so we'll table the April 26th meetings. How about the May 10th council meeting? Is there a motion to approve the minutes for the May 10th council meeting?
So moved. Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Okay, and the May 24th work session, I need a motion?
So moved. Second?
Yeah. All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? All right, let's move on to item 7, the city manager's report. I think you have some great news for us today.
I have several pieces of news, and a lot of it is about fun things. So, Saturday, June 19th, at the new Aquatic Center, going to hold one of our more popular events, a Shop Local event, which is typically held at the Community Center and has always proven very popular, open to the public. It will be held at the new Mesa Aquatic Center, June 19th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Local merchants and home sale representatives are available to sell a variety of items to help support area merchants. So again, June 19th, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Aquatic Center. Also, Music in Mason is back this year. Friday night concerts that are in downtown Mason on the plaza. They start at 6 p.m. They include 2 music entertainment acts each Friday night. So June 18th, July 9th, July 23rd, June 25th. I just read these out of order, I'm sorry. June 18th, June 25th, July 9th, July 16th, July 23rd, and July 30th. The July 3rd event will be on Saturday, so that's why there's not an event on Friday, July 2nd. In order to celebrate Independence Day, we'll be holding a downtown block party on Saturday, July 3rd. That will also be held at the plaza. Like the concert series, except Main Street will be closed. There will be kids' activities, vendors, exhibitors. There will also be beverage sales provided by the American Legion in partnership with the Parks and Recreation Foundation, who will then split the proceeds from that. There will be live music that begins at 6 p.m. and then the same band but a different persona at 8 p.m. And then to cap off the evening at 10 p.m., there will be fireworks that will be viewable from the downtown plaza. Also, that is this year's July 3rd event. That doesn't mean that Red Rhythm and Boom is forgotten. In fact, Red Rhythm and Boom this year will be held in conjunction with the Heritage Festival, and that will be on Saturday, September 18th. It will take place on this campus. We have an incident command team who has spent a year somewhat frustrated and ambiguous with shifting dates and events, so they're excited to be working on this event. They're working with national talent agencies. I hope at our next meeting we'll be able to announce the Entertainment Act that has been successfully secured for July 3rd. And we are in the process of reaching out both to campus partners with festivity information and to add that to the city's website. So planning is in full speed for that, even as we're underway with the block party and the downtown concert series. Also worth noting, on Sunday, July 4th, the community center will be open from 7 a.m. to 12 p.m., but with limited access. And then on Monday, July 5th, city offices will be closed to observe the Independence Day holiday. Waste collection will not be affected by any of those days. And then a final note here, maybe a more timely one, in about 50 minutes, the Mason Manta Rays, as well as with elite swimmers from across the country, will be working at the Olympic qualifying trials. The City of Mason, the Manta Rays team, and this is a remarkable accomplishment when you look at some of the stats, had 13 swimmers that were going to the Olympic trials. That is, well, nationally, about 0.01% of elite swimmers are able to make it to the Olympic trials. For a community the size of Mason to have 13 make it to the trials is, I haven't even done the math on the odds there, but it's remarkable. As of today, 5 remain, have continued to qualify, and the trials continue until June 20th. We're very hopeful that tonight we'll see continued success for that team, and that we'll end up with, all of them have been extremely successful in their field, and we expect that some of them will be able to compete on behalf of the Manta Rays, I'd like to say, at the Olympics. That is all I have, Mayor.
May I ask a couple questions?
No.
I
Yes,
will anyways.
sorry.
If you wanted to watch I know that this is a really, really fun meeting if you're watching us live, but let's say just for a minute you wanted to check out the swimmers tonight at 8. What?
Old NBC Sports.
NBC Sports, okay. And are there updates on our website to check out if you want to watch in the coming
Website,
days?
well, social media, we've been putting out updates and tips consistently, both expressions of supports for the swimmer as well as ways to participate.
Great. And a question about Heritage Festival Day. Are we planning on the parade?
We've been discussing that, engaging interest. I don't think we're ready to announce
Okay.
parade or the parade route yet, but interested in folks' level of interest in the parade, certainly.
And since you mentioned the Friday night concerts on the plaza, How have the first two gone so far?
I would say excellent. Had a lot of interest, I think maybe even some pent-up interest. Dan may want to give us his on-the-ground sense.
So we had a great crowd at the first two concerts. The first one was Friday, June the 4th. And unlike some of the concerts we've done in the past, we just have the small footprint, like Mr. Hanson had mentioned, with closing down Main Street as part of the block party event. So we've had great crowds at the first two. Threat of rain last Friday, but it stayed nice. So hoping forward to some great weather and getting folks out on the plaza on Fridays.
Mayor, I did fail to mention last year and now this year, Mr. Chambers may have the record for years spent as the instant commander for Red Rhythm Boom. He may be the one most relieved to get a successful Red Rhythm Boom as well as Heritage Festival done this year. He's done a great and frustrating job as that. I'm sure you'd like to see it capped off.
Yeah, well, we are proud to have Dan on our team, that's for sure. So you're not busy at all this summer, are you?
Not at all.
Yes, if you need something done, just ask Dan. All right. Well, thank you for that very thorough report, and congratulations to our Manta Ray swimmers. All right, let's go on to item 8. We have recognition of visitors. Is there anyone who wishes to approach the podium and tell us what's on your mind? Okay. Do we have anybody online? Are we live streaming today? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I miss you? Come on up, sir. It's great that you're here. Go ahead and state your name and address for the record, please.
My name's Matt Gegner. Did you say address? 6736 Butler Warren Road. Me and a couple of my neighbors are here to voice some concern of just some semi-truck traffic coming through our way. It's all residential right there. We just kind of feel like there's no real reason for them to be coming through. I know I have a few young kids that are playing out. We've had a lot of accidents right in our little strip. I printed some maps to show. So basically, we are right by where the roundabout is going to be going in, right at Barrett and Butler Warren. We're just north of that, and I'm not sure if semis are even going to be able to come through the roundabout. I was kind of wondering maybe if we could possibly get like no trucks through at like 42 in Butler Warren. It's closed right now for the roundabout, and they're actually still cutting through my neighborhood, which is pretty scary, to say the least. Some of the trucks are bigger than the houses in the neighborhood. I feel like just a few signs, I don't really know exactly what all would be involved, and how difficult or easy it could be to possibly direct truck traffic down 42 to Tylersville if they need to get to 75, because I imagine that's the only real reason they cut through is to save a minute to get to 75. That's all I got.
Okay. Thank you. And I didn't catch your name. I'm sorry.
Matt Gegner.
Matt Deglin?
Gegner.
Gegner.
Egner.
Okay. Thank you, Matt. Kurt, do you have anything that would help with his concerns?
One question you asked is, will semi-trucks be able to traverse through the roundabout? And they will. It'll have a truck apron like our other roundabouts do, where the trailing tires will go up on the truck apron. On a road like Butler Warren Road, I don't know that some signs would help with the semi-truck traffic. We have areas of the city where we have no through trucks, and you can watch trucks regularly go through there. But it does help with enforcement. I think the problem we're having today, really citywide, is drivers of those trucks just follow their GPS on their phones or GPSs in the vehicles. And if it says turn left, they turn left. And I'm sure Mason's not alone in this issue. We have it on, think last meeting, Concord Crossing was brought up. Church Street has the same thing. And Butler Warren, you guys have much higher traffic volumes than either of those two streets. So we can look into it, but signs won't help the issue. I can assure you of that. So.
We have a lot of wrecks right through there. I actually had one of my vehicles totaled. We have street parking right there, and they smashed my car. But
What,
then
a
there's a
sideswipe accident, was it? Or
just had a rear end. Just
okay.
going to work in the morning. And then just a few houses up, there's like a little. So we have street parking up until a couple houses past my house, and then it like the road kicks over a little bit, which concerns me even more with the big trucks. Actually, they live right there, and their vehicle got totaled out as well. Somebody didn't do a little turn and hit head on, and then hit their car that was parked on the side of the road.
Yeah, the road has a really weird crown to it as well.
Oh, yeah.
We're looking at having some soil borings done this year to see, that's getting up there on our list of roads that needs to be resurfaced. And so we're trying to see how deep the pavement is, if we can help the profile of the road, which might help with some of those type of accidents. So.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, guys.
Mayor,
Thank you. Yes.
I know you said Butler Warren. What street do you live on that the cars have been crashed into? Oh, you're on Butler
Yeah.
Warren. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I know we had Mr. Inskeep before up here, but I think we found out that that driver was under the influence of chemicals. So it wasn't a matter of speed or traffic. It was a driver impairment. Doesn't make it any easier when your car gets smashed. I understand that. But from hearing from Kurt, I think the fact that the roundabout has been engineered to go ahead and take semis or lengthened vehicles, correct, Kurt? Okay.
I haven't seen drawings of it, so I wasn't for sure.
If you need drawings, I think Kurt can provide those for you and your neighbors to, I think a lot of people are saying the roundabout won't work. I think it will work as far as you won't have that terrible intersection there. So go ahead and get some copies from Kurt. He'll provide them to you. You can show your neighbors. And timetable, Kurt, on, I know it's been down for 2-3 weeks, at least 2.
Yeah, we're hoping early August to have it back open. So,
Okay, so basically 6 weeks,
yeah,
if the weatherman cooperates?
yeah, that would be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Hopefully you can come back in 6 weeks and tell us it works.
Good evening. My name's Becky Super. Can you hear me? That's my husband, Todd, okay?
Super?
I grew up here in Mesa. I grew up on Butler Warren Road, where he's, was describing. And I moved back 14 years ago when my mother passed away, back into the home that I grew up in. So in these 17 years, we've seen a lot of progress and a lot of change. And the traffic on Butler Warren Road, I don't know if anybody studied it, but we live there. And you would not believe the traffic. And it's not just the impaired. My husband's truck was totaled back in February, $32,000. The telephone pole was snapped in half, and there was another car involved. And as he said, his vehicle was totaled last year. The neighbor 2 doors up has seen 6 car accidents in the intersection that he lives at. I mean, there's 6. We live 7/10 of a mile from Tylersville south. Okay, 3/10 of a mile from the roundabout. And from Tylersville to our house, there used to be 6 35-mile-per-hour signs. Somebody knocked one down. They never did replace it, so now we're down to 5. And I do a lot of traveling in 4 different counties, and I don't think I've ever seen a road that has that many speed limit signs just on this side of the road. Now, there's some on the other side, but these people are not obeying the 35 mile per hour, and neither are the truck drivers. And my concern is, I have no children right now, they're grown, but he has children, and there's other children that are on that block. And if a semi were to lose control, like some of these other vehicles have, it'll wipe out one of our houses. Some of these semis are bigger than our houses. Our house is what, 910 square feet? I mean, it's not a very big house. And the truckers are even coming down and turning left onto Broadview. And I don't know how they're making the turn from Broadview onto Olympia to get out of the neighborhood. I haven't run down there and checked that out yet. But it has to be comical, because it's just, the subdivision's not built for that, okay? And it concerns all of us, because we may not have any children, but they have children. There's other children that are, growing up there too. And like I said, and he explained that right there, the house right next to us, which used to be the last house, all the way to Tylersville, but there's a creek right on the other side. There was a car that ended up in that creek a few years ago, nose down. I mean, we need something, either some signs to lower the speed limit, some speed bumps. I don't know, but it's not enjoyable for us, and I don't know. I've got a list here. But drop the speed limit maybe, to 25. Maybe they'll go 35 then. I don't know, And like he said, maybe not even allow semis. They don't have any reason to come up and down that road. There's no businesses. Go 42 or Tylersville or even Cox Road. Their houses sit way back, Ours is very, very close to the road, okay? It's very concerning. And I have, in the last probably 4 or 5 years, seen an uptick of the semis coming up and down the road. Okay, and I don't know if any of you have ever traveled on Butler Warren Road, but it's not, in my opinion, it is not semi-traffic friendly. I mean, all the traffic that's coming up and down that road now has grown a lot. And I get it, I understand. But for those of us that are living in the first 2 blocks off of Western Road, you would not believe how hard it is to get in and out of our driveways. Seriously. We have to back into them so that we can just make a run for it when we have to go somewhere, And I don't know. I would really like to see Mason do something for all of us on Butler Warren Road. And I guess that's it.
Mrs. Super, we really appreciate you sharing your concerns, and I know exactly what you're talking about. The margin of error is so slim going down Butler Warren, especially traveling north between Western Row and Tylersville. There's just very little shoulder. So if you're not paying attention, or you drop something, or your kids are fighting in the back seat or something, you may dip into the curb or get into somebody's yard. Something can definitely go wrong there. The road is narrow. There is a lot of traffic. We were hopeful, after years of studying, that the roundabout would help alleviate some of the problems there. But I'm wondering, Kurt, have you all looked into, at some point in time, is there some long-term plan to widening it? I know that's on the Butler County side where there's space, but is there ever a plan? It really has helped between Tylersville and Bethany to have the road widened, but I don't know if there's ever been a plan pitched to widen it between Tylersville and Western Row.
Yeah, there is, and over the years, so the city of Mason that has that as, I believe, a minor arterial roadway, which would be a 4-lane road. When we designed the roundabout with Butler County, their staff believes that it'll never be more than 3 lanes, and that's based on traffic counts that. The data that we have shows the traffic counts have been pretty flat out there. Half of the road, really the northbound section, is in City Mason. Most of the southbound section is in Westchester. There's a portion that's all Mason, so it is kind of chopped up through there. But I could talk with our traffic supervisors and see if they can work together with Westchester and maybe push for some, speed enforcement out in that area. It's unusual that with the road closed, you guys are coming and complaining about traffic and accidents, and I don't know if it's now quiet, and that's maybe alerted you to how much traffic is out there on a normal day, or if you're having traffic right now today with the road
What
closed.
really bothered me was when I started seeing the semis going through our neighborhood.
Okay,
they-
so they're
They're
going past the detour signs and the road closed signs and then turning around in your subdivision?
No.
Or,
There's a road, Broadview.
Okay.
On the Warren County side.
okay,
Yeah, and they will turn left.
Okay.
Into that, either way, you go into a subdivision. Our subdivision, of course, is older. It's been there since the 50s and 60s.
okay. Yep.
The other subdivision on the Westchester side is a little bit more wide, which I wouldn't want semis coming up and down that road either if I lived on it. But the subdivision that is behind our house, it has to be amazing how they're, like I said, turning from
Yeah.
Broadview onto Olympia. I mean, I mean, it's almost comical,
Yeah.
but no, we've been aware of this for a long time and been putting it off. And then I didn't know about the roundabout because I have to be honest with you. I know studies show that it saves lives and all that stuff, but this traffic is going to continue to go. So now we're not even going to be able to get in or out of our driveways we've had to wait, and people will be behind us beeping their horns. I mean, it's just, so now the roundabout's just going to be continuous. And the traffic has grown since we moved in there just 17 years ago. Of course, I know it'll never be like it was when I was growing up. You could go out and take a nap on that road,
Yeah.
all day.
I bet.
And they used to fight. We never got our roads cleared off either from the snow, because they would fight, Butler County and Warren County, so. But something really needs to be done before somebody gets killed. Right now, it's just vehicles. But what's it going to be when it's a child? Or somebody walking down the street walking their dog? I mean, honestly, you have to, that's how scary it is. So, but we just kind of put it off, and then when the roundabout went in, I was just, we've got to go to Mesa and at least let you guys hear our concerns. So we appreciate the time.
We're really glad that you did. Thank you for coming in today.
Mayor?
Thanks. Yes.
If I may, were they turning on Broadview before the round? Okay. That's new. Okay.
Mayor,
I kind of thought that, but I want to make sure.
Mayor, Kurt, is there anything that we can do? Because it really does kind of seem dangerous to have semis going down Broadview in Olympia. Are there what are the rules on where semis can and can't go in our city?
In general, if there's not a no through trucks sign, they're allowed to go on any residential street. Yep. And that's for, you might have moving trucks, things like that go into a subdivision. Even if it has a no through trucks, that's allowed if they're visiting, going to a house in that subdivision. So,
Come on, if you don't mind coming on up, Mrs. Super. I understand that too.
So when you would come up Western Row to turn right onto Butler Warren Road, it was a hill, very, sign, no trucks to turn right.
Yep.
Guess what they did?
Yep.
They would try to turn right anyway.
Right.
I mean, it's just, it's just a really big concern. So hopefully you guys will do something. That's all we can do.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
Eric, can you tell what part do we actually have jurisdiction on that road? If I'm going southbound, apparently it's not, is it the middle of the road?
The best estimate is yes, the middle of the road, but that's not consistent throughout there,
Right.
unfortunately.
Okay.
But generally speaking, southbound, you're in Butler County. Northbound, Mason, Warren County.
So I kind of thought that. Okay, thank you.
All right, so,
I wasn't quite done yet, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yes, go ahead.
Is there anything that we can do to prohibit the trucks from going down Broadview and Olympia? Because those are just a residential area, and she's right. I mean, there's children in those areas.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that was happening, so we can take a look at the signage. Once a truck is down there, there's really nowhere for them to go. So the best thing we can do is improve the signage at Tylersville and Western Road, or Butler Warren, and keep them from going south of that. So
Okay.
we'll take a look at that tomorrow.
you may be wondering, why not recommend speed bumps? Well, they will drive you crazy because they're so loud, especially if trucks are going over them. So that one won't work, and we know people ignore them. And Mr. Chance, you had something?
Yeah, just real quick. When we mentioned GPS, right? And with GPS, like when you drive an RV, if you hit in an address, it'll tell you like, hey, you can't go here, you can't go there. Is there anything out there for semi-truck traffic to where you can enter in an address and it prohibits certain GPS? I don't know. I own we own 3 semis, but I don't even know that, right? If you can put in coordinates and it doesn't allow you to go that way, I think that can be extremely helpful, especially for enforcement in the event that, there's certain coordinates that you plug in from the city of Mason to that, whoever coordinates the GPS, if that's Google Maps or whoever it is. Is there anything out there like that? Do we know?
I have an idea.
There he is, Mr. Super.
All right.
Name's Todd. Good evening, guys.
Hi, we'll need you to state your whole name and address.
Well, that sounds like an interrogation.
I know.
Todd Wayne Super,
Ooh, thank you.
6700 Butler Warren Road. So as my wife and my neighbor Matt said, the truck traffic there there's no excuse there. The fact that the roundabout will accommodate truck traffic is absurd. There's no reason for it to accommodate anything more than a van or a box truck or anything like that. But that is what it is. Loveland, the city of Loveland, they have a very low, is anybody familiar with the city of Loveland? Ever get out that way? They've got a very low underpass for a railroad trestle. The clearance is 8 feet. I forget the name of the road, but it's down by where they rent canoes. And if you turn right onto this road, they actually have a beam across the road that if you are over 8 feet high, sounds an alarm and it sounds a siren. And I know because my service van has been victim to this. And so there's a siren that sounds very loudly, and it sounds like a police car behind you to warn you that you're going to a low overpass because you're over 8 foot. If semi trucks are basically over that high, why couldn't we do the same thing? Look into that maybe. Maybe we could have some more law enforcement out there. That would be a good thing. We very rarely see any policemen from Westchester, Mason, Butler County, Warren County. They're very rarely there. I volunteered for them to sit in my driveway. I don't care. Right in front of our house is where Butler Warren bottlenecks, and it gets very, very narrow right there. Butler County's got all that beautiful real estate on the west side of Butler Warren, but over here on our side, we've got the older neighborhood, and it just seems like we're not really considering all the room that's in Butler County. I mean, shouldn't Butler County say, hey, we've got that real estate. Let's talk. Let's do at least a turning lane, a suicide lane in the middle or something where, we can pull off. When that roundabout goes in, we're not going to get a break. I mean, because people are going to be zooming through that roundabout. Listen, I love roundabouts. I travel all over the tri-state. But let's think about 275. Why are we still allowing semi-trucks to go down through the Brent Spence Bridge? Look at the trouble we're having right now. I mean, that's not our fault, but we all travel that 75 all the time. I mean, can't we control the truck traffic in this area? I mean, do they rule our roads? I don't know. Just seems like 275 is brand new, considering Brent Spence is old and, but nobody's stopping the truck traffic from going across Brent Spence Bridge. I mean, we're having problems with it. So why can't we stop them from going down Butler Warren before, somebody gets killed? Those tractor trailers are 53 feet long. Trying to go through, what is that, Broadview? Broadview and Olympia, 53 feet long. we've only got 30 feet from the edge of the road to our house. So if one of those was to veer off, I mean, they're going to take our houses out. And I know we're the older neighborhood, whatever. There's a lot of good people that live there, and I appreciate everything that Mason does. We actually have a great city, a good community, great community. So I'd like to see that maybe our older neighborhoods maybe get a little more consideration as far as all of this traffic that's due to progress. People fly up and down that road. Have any of you all ever traveled on Butler Warren Road? Like every day? Every day, it's scary. It's really scary. Right now that it's closed down at Barrett and Western Row, it's fantastic because people have really slowed down. But semi-trucks, they still figure a way to get around. But thank you guys. Appreciate you listening.
Thank you, Mr. Super. We want you to feel safe. And so we're going to have our staff, they're going to look into what can be done and how quickly it can get done. Roadway projects are not quick to come to fruition. I know this one has taken years of planning, but hopefully it won't take years to be able to address some of your concerns. We want you to feel safe, whether you're in a new neighborhood or an old neighborhood. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you. Anybody else in recognition of visitors? Okay, let's move on to item number 9, which is Resolution 2021-13. We need a motion to read by title only, please.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Jeff?
Recognizing July as National Parks and Recreation Month.
Eric?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to introduce one of the harder working folks in the city, especially this year when you consider the number of recreational and park amenities. They're either opening or in progress. Chrissy Avery has the responsibility for running a large and successful department. So she's here to speak on this briefly.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you, members of council. I'm excited to be here tonight to celebrate July as Parks and Recreation Month. NRPA is the National Recreation and Park Association. For 36 years, NRPA has celebrated July as Parks and Recreation Month to bring awareness to the benefits that Parks and Recreation brings to communities. This year's theme is called Our Parks and Recreation Story. So NRPA is encouraging residents, businesses, and local communities to share their stories of how Parks and Recreation has impacted their lives. I think for the city of Mason, the excitement of recovering from 2020 and restoring operations after the COVID pandemic, 2021 has been a really big celebration year for us. So looking into spring, so exciting to build upon our culture of wellness and introduce McKeno Park featuring the Common Ground Playground to the community. If you haven't been there, it's been pretty busy and has had great reviews. This past weekend, we've had record number attendance at the Mason Municipal Aquatic Center. So looking at our attendance this past weekend, I think Eric might have stated we had 1,136 people on Saturday and over 800 people on Sunday. And that's just with opening the first phase of the leisure pool. Looking at our former pool, we would have maybe 300 to 600 people on a busy weekend. So knowing that in just our introductory season, we're starting to see double the numbers that we've seen in the past. Not only do our facilities enhance the quality of life, but as Eric talked about earlier, the fun that we bring, restoring music in Mason and July 3rd, and being kind of innovative in our field in terms of restoring big events to the community with bringing back Red Rhythm and Boom on Saturday, September 18th. Also celebrating our 13 manta rays that are pursuing their path to the Olympics. So I just want to thank council for having me here tonight. Thank you for supporting the resolution. Just excited to share how our story of our parks and our facilities not only impact the quality of life for residents, but are also our economic assets that help us recruit and bring business and new businesses to our community. So thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Wow. So did I hear you correctly? 1,136 swimmers on Saturday.
That is correct,
And
yes.
over 800 on Sunday. And you typically ran how many on Saturdays and Sundays?
I would say 300 to 500 would be average, and then up to 600 on a holiday weekend.
Wow, that is incredible. That is incredible. What a miracle. And McKeno Park is always crowded, which is exciting. It got great reviews from our grandkids and their parents, who thought it was very parent-friendly and kid-friendly. They loved it. We just have so many wonderful blessings there, but I'm really excited about the pool. And how is the soft serve ice cream machine being received at the pool?
Well, this past Saturday, we had a community unity event, and everybody that came received free ice cream. So there's 1,136 happy guests that had free ice cream on Saturday.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow, just great, great news. Well, thank you so much. Council, do you have any questions for Chrissy Avery?
Mayor?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. You go first.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had the privilege to serve on the Parks and Recreation Board for 5.5 years, I believe. And continuously, when you talk to people in the city of Mason, this is one of the first things they bring up is our parks, and being able to witness behind the scenes what goes into the planning, the preparation. It's not something that we wave a wand and poof, there it's there. And so I get to see kind of behind the curtain and what Dan, Chrissy, and their teams put together and do. And we show up and they give us an update every time we get together, and I'm always astonished by how much is going on, how much work is going on behind the scenes to accomplish that. I just want, and they're always willing and open to, people's input and what's going on. And so, I, again, echoing what Eric said about how hard you guys work. And not only do we appreciate it, but I know all this, the citizens and people that live in Mason. And now in McKeno, my wife went there with our 3 little shavers the other day, and she was playing, and she was talking to a bunch of people, and it was pretty cool. I know that was supposed to be kind of a regional draw, and the people that she was talking to were, I think she said almost 50% of them were from surrounding communities. So I think that's excellent. I think, mission accomplished there, and well done again. And I just want to say thank you for everything that you guys do.
Mayor, if I may, usually after my morning visit at Chick-fil-A, I'll take a tour of the city and come up with a punch list for Eric of things that I see that are wrong. Eric, you want to nod your head yes?
I don't want to encourage anything.
Okay. I would encourage other council members to do that. He's been very quickly reactive as far as a pothole here or something like that I happen to see. But today I came through kind of taking a tour of not so much the pool. I want to see what was going on with the new Olympic thing. And I got there about 10:58, and there was already a line of people to go into the swimming pool. So I think that shows you the interest. I guess if I paraphrase a movie, if you build it, they will come. And there's no doubt about it. The old swimming pool has served its purpose. It was dated and needed a lot of work. But I have taken a tour when you hit the open house. You've done a good job. Congratulations.
Anyone else? All right. The pool wasn't an easy decision for council. We studied it for a long time, and staff was making us recommendations over time, and they kept it going, the old pool, as long as they possibly could. But when we had to make that very expensive decision, it was tough. But boy, it sure feels rewarding to hear that you had 1,136 ice cream cones enjoyed on Saturday. That's amazing. That's heavy usage. Wonderful news. All right, well, we better get going. So let's have a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading, please.
So moved.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? We need a motion to adopt.
So moved. Second.
Any more council discussion? Let's call the roll.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Gilb?
Yes.
Councilmember Hunter Law?
Yes.
Mayor Grossman?
Yes.
Councilmember Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Chance?
Yes.
Item 10 on the agenda is Resolution 2021-14. We need a motion to read by title only. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Jeff?
Declaring the necessity and intention to appropriate property for the US 42 Roundabouts project and declaring an emergency, State Route 42 Mason LLC and ICP State Route 42 LLC.
Kurt.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. If I could, I'd like to talk about Resolution 2114 and 2115 at the same time here. Both are related to the US 42 Roundabouts project, which, to your earlier point, started back in 2017, and here we are in 2021, finalizing the right-of-way for that project. The right-of-way consisted of 6 properties. 3 of those we have signed. We've been working on this for most of the year. We have appraisals from ODOT-approved appraisers and appraisal reviewers and negotiators working on it. One of the properties is Duke Energy. They had some concerns about some of our storm sewer underneath their lines. We've made some changes to that storm sewer system, so we do not need a resolution for Duke Energy. And then the remaining 2, we're waiting on their appraisers to counter back to us and make an offer. So this resolution is necessary depending on those counter offers to keep the project on schedule. By ODOT schedule, by end of August, we need to have all of the right-of-way acquired, and so this step is necessary to begin the possibility of appropriation. This isn't appropriation. That would be the next step would be an ordinance for these properties to appropriate it or begin the actual appropriation. So this would allow the project to continue in anticipation of beginning the project in spring of 2022. So with that, Resolution 2114 and 2115 are both recommended for adoption.
Thank you. We need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading, please.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? We need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Any council discussion? Let's call the roll, please.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Gill?
Yes.
Councilmember Hunterlaw?
Yes.
Mayor Grossman?
Yes.
Councilmember Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Chance?
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Item 11 is Resolution 2021-15. We need a motion to read that by title only.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Declaring the necessity and intention to appropriate property for the US 42 Roundabouts project and declaring an emergency, Sandra L. Eves.
We need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion to adopt, please. You need a motion to adopt?
So moved?
Thank you. Any council discussion? All right, Kurt already covered this one. All right, let's call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Gill?
Yes.
Councilmember Hunterlaw?
Yes.
Mayor Grossman?
Yes.
Councilmember Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Chance?
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Item 12 is Ordinance 2021-66. We need a motion to read by title only.
So moved.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Jeff?
Approval of the replat of Promark Enterprise Park, Section 2.
Kurt?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. Weldon Drive is located off 741, just north of Bethany Road. This replat is to take Lot 9 and basically split just under 3 acres off of it, creating Lot 9A and 9B. Planning Commission reviewed this at the June 1st meeting and recommended approval. It is zoned industrial, and both lots will have access off Weldon Drive, and both meet the minimum lot requirements for zoning code. So with that, Ordinance 21-66 is recommended for adoption.
All right. We need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? We need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Any council discussion? All right, let's call the roll, please.
Councilmember Hunterlaw?
Yes.
Mayor Grossman?
Yes.
Councilmember Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Chance?
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Gill? Yes.
Item 13 on the agenda, ordinance 2021-67. We need a motion to read by title only.
So moved?
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Jeff?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract for sale and purchase with Mesa Properties LLC.
All right, Kurt, we're keeping you busy tonight.
Yes, thank you. This shows the UDF center that's at the location of 42 and Tylersville Road. UDF is looking to reinvest in this property, creating a new standalone store, and they have requested from the city to purchase this area of a really unused right-of-way that the city currently has. There's a portion of it down here. There's a 48-inch storm pipe that goes through, and with this proposal, they would create an easement for that storm sewer so that we could continue to maintain it. It's just under 0.2 of an acre of property, and this shows the proposed site plan. This has been both to Planning Commission and to ZBA. There was some variances required for the site, and they've received approval at both, contingent on this property purchase. The proposal is to use the value from we had to acquire for the 741 Parkside project. UDF owned some property on that at that project, and the per acre price was $382,000, just over $382,000 an acre, and so they're willing to use that same price per acre on this parcel, which comes at just under $73,000 for this piece of right of way. And so ordinance 2167 authorizes a contract for sale and purchase to Mesa Properties LLC for this property and is recommended for adoption. And I'll answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. We need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved?
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? A motion to adopt.
So moved again?
Second.
Thank you. Any council discussion or questions for Kurt? All right, we may call the roll then.
Mayor Grossman?
Yes.
Councilmember Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Chance?
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Guild?
Yes.
Councilmember Hunterlaw?
Yes.
Item 14 is ordinance 2021-68. We need a motion to read by title only, please.
Second.
Jeff. Oh, all in favor? Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Oh, goodness. Jeff.
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Evans Civil Pro Engineers for the Indianwood Stormwater Improvement Project design and engineering in an amount not to exceed $39,050.
Kurt. Oh, where'd you go?
I'm bouncing around on you. Thank you, Mayor. This is for the Indianwood storm sewer, which back in 2019, we conducted a survey. We actually got about 30 responses from residents in this area of drainage concerns that they had. This is one that was on our list of projects and was floating towards the top because of some basement flooding and severe roadway and yard flooding. Those responses helped us to identify 3 areas that need some storm sewer. There's areas where we need to upsize some storm sewer, and then there's areas where there is no storm sewer where back when those subdivisions were developed, it really should have had some storm sewer. We believe this improvements that are proposed will make a sizable impact for really a reasonable cost. We had in the budget this year $615,000 for both design and construction of this project, and $85,000 of that was earmarked for what we thought the design would be. Evans Civil Pro, their proposal was for just under $40,000 for design of these improvements, and they believe they can get the plans done this fall so that we could still bid the project late this year and begin construction next year. So with that, ordinance 2168 is recommended for adoption.
Thank you. We need a motion to suspend the rule to allow for adoption after the first reading, please.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? We need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Thanks. Any council discussion, questions for Kurt? All right, let's call the roll.
Councilmember Nelson,
Yes.
Councilmember Chance,
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn,
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Gilb,
Yes.
Councilmember Hunterlaw,
Yes.
Mayor Grossman.
Yes. Item 15 on the agenda, ordinance 2021-69. We need a motion to read by title only.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Jeff?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Spectra Contract Flooring for installation of carpet at the Mesa Municipal Center.
Jennifer's going to tell us about this one.
Yes, Mayor, members of council, the Municipal Center was completed and opened in 2002, after which time, for a number of years, we were able to enjoy a time when there wasn't very many repairs or maintenance costs to incur. The facility is now almost 20 years old, and we are seeing a number of different repairs and maintenance items that need to be done. For instance, if you noticed out front as you came in tonight, the concrete out in front at the front entrance was replaced. We put new bollards out there. We've also done work on the chillers as well as the HVAC system. We've done some minor improvements, some facelift stuff, just to try to keep the facility in good working condition. The meeting rooms in the atrium are used highly by organizations, the public, as well as our businesses when they're looking for meeting spaces. Several years ago, we noticed the wear and tear on that. That community room across the hallway was also used for senior center operations when we did the Tri-Health expansion at the community center and needed to relocate those operations. So again, a lot of activity in the atrium of this municipal center. Several years ago, we did notice that. We noticed, the carpet is in need of replacement, walls need painted, just the wear and tear that you would see on that. So we began to stockpile carpet. There is so much carpet in this, over 120,000 square foot facility, and we knew that come a time we would need to replace it. And so annually we budgeted money towards carpet replacement. We now have a stockpile enough that we can do the police department area. We have used some of the carpet over the years to replace it in the community room. We have used some of it to upgrade the upstairs classroom as well as some rooms over at the community center. So it's the same carpet. We've moved from instead of the rollout carpet, we use carpet tiles, which is very convenient and flexible and also easy to replace. So if just one area in the carpet needs to replace, we can pull up that tile and replace. So it's very cost effective for what we're trying to move towards. So we do have, like I said, carpet stockpiled. We will continue to increase that inventory by more on an annual basis. But what we'd like to do now and what we're proposing as part of this ordinance is to move forward with a replacement on the police department side of things. This ordinance 2021-69 is for installation as well as miscellaneous supplies needed for that carpet replacement. It is also looked at as installation for the entire facility. This will have to be done over time. We do not want to disrupt operations. Most of the work that we've done in the rooms have been vacant, whether it's after hours, and we've done with in-house staff. The areas that now need to be done are more complicated. They have workstations, work areas, desks that have to be moved. And we just can't possibly do that with in-house staff. So with that, again, would like to move forward with this ordinance with Spectra Contract Flooring. We did receive quotes for the work, and they were the lowest quote received. We plan to plan this out so we don't disrupt services. As well, do it over time, so as we get the inventory of carpet needed, we can do those replacements at that time. So with that, we are recommending ordinance 2021-69 for adoption. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you. We need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Any sorry.
Second.
Any council discussion or questions for Jennifer?
I have a comment, Mayor.
Yes.
I'm just really impressed that you were able to push this off for 20 years. I mean, that's amazing with the foot traffic in that facility. So good job, Mason, on saving some money on that.
And I was going to add on that same thing. I'm saying, evidently the carpet in this building outlasted the concrete in the front of the building. That's pretty impressive. Maybe.
Wow.
Mr. President.
Not all areas.
Yes.
The highly trafficked areas, the community room and stuff was already replaced.
I think it's very smart to do the squares. Yeah, that way you can take little pieces out when something happens, and things happen, don't they? All right, well, if there isn't anything else, we can call the roll. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Chance?
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Gill?
Yes.
Councilmember Hunterlaw?
Yes.
Mayor Grossman?
Yes.
Councilmember Nelson?
Yes. Item 16 is ordinance 2021-70. We need a motion to read by title only.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed?
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Team All Sports in the amount of $20,125 for the replacement of roofing on 6 baseball dugouts at the Mason Sports Park.
Jennifer?
Mayor, members of council, as you heard earlier, we have a number of new park and recreation facilities we opened. We also continue to try and invest annually in existing facilities. The Mason Sports Park opened in 2008. They have a fabric type material that covers the dugouts out there. Maybe wasn't the best material used at the time because it does not provide a lot of shading or protection for the players when they're out there using those fields. So that fabric has become deteriorated with the UV rays and just the wear and tear. We're looking to replace that with a metal sheeting over those dugouts, similar to what you see maybe down at Cattell Park and some of the other parks in the area. Again, this will provide some protection for the players out of the sun and from the weather and elements. So this project was included in our 2021 budget in the amount of $18,000. It includes replacing all 6 baseball dugouts at the Mason Sports Park. With that, ordinance 2021-70 is recommended for adoption. If you have any questions, be happy to answer them.
Thanks. We need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading, please.
So moved?
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? We need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second?
All right, any council discussion? All right, let's call the roll.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Gill?
Yes.
Councilmember Hunterlaw?
Yes.
Mayor Grossman?
Yes.
Councilmember Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Chance?
Yes.
All right, item 17 is committee reports. Do we have anyone that needs to make a report today?
TJ, Downtown Committee.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just taking a note here. Thank you. Yes. We haven't had a meeting since the downtown committee meeting? Okay. So we did meet on the 4th Thursday, and we had a nice showing, and we had actually a nice conversation about downtown. We had a lot of public participation, and I think we made some progress on looking at different ideas for things that we could be thinking about for in the future. And even we talked about what the steering committee was getting ready to meet. I think we even reviewed, sorry, Eric, what was the review was the Mcbride Dale, is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
So
Bridedale.
so that was very helpful to go through there. So yeah, I thought we had a constructive and productive downtown committee meeting.
What's our timeline on the McBride Dale recommendations?
Well, as a result of the downtown committee, it shifted somewhat because what the committee recommended, and I think staff encouraged even, was additional time to allow both the committee to meet additional times to discuss, and then provide ample time for community input. The next steps would be, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Planning Commission. The next formal steps after that public type of engagement would be at Planning Commission and then at Council. So, and one of the concerns expressed was, and I kind of left over from COVID ambiguity, was to make sure that those meetings had ample time for folks to be prepared for them, so to maximize the attendance.
Okay, so how long are we talking overall? A month?
Oh, I would say, to what point? To Planning Commission? To
That's-
The committee also wanted some public input, 2 public input meetings in addition to the committee meetings, so.
I would say, September, October, into the fall.
But those two committee meetings could be in the same week, as long as we have separate days, so there's not a conflict of people that they could come out. Like a Monday and a Wednesday or something. We have two days for people to come out, unless you think they're, I guess, the possibility they're going to be on vacation, you would separate it by 2 weeks. But I mean, those two meetings, just to make it.
Are we,
So if I can speak real quick, you were supposed to make the recommendation. We had talked about this in the downtown committee meeting, and we talked about the importance of having public input and having the proper notice given to people. And we talked about, TJ was going to recommend that we have the meeting and then we at least give another 2 weeks notice and have another one so that the public was aware, in case they missed the first meeting, the public was aware that there was one, could come to the second one to give their input. We felt as a committee that public input is very important, and we do not want to leave anybody out of the process in this planning. We want to do our due diligence and make sure that we listen to the shareholders, which are the businesses and the individuals, the residents in this case. So that's what the downtown committee recommended. We also recommended that for the steering committee, any committee, we will give at least a 2-week notice for the committee. I know there was some committee members who had expressed a concern with late notification and then not being able to make it because the notification didn't give them enough time. So we were going to recommend that as well.
Has any meeting been scheduled?
No, not that I'm aware of for the steering committee.
Okay, I think this has just been taking a long time. I think we need to get it moving. I don't have a problem with 2 public meetings, but I don't know why you have to take 2 weeks to schedule one and then wait 2 more weeks. I think you can have them back to back and give ample time.
So the committee, we talked about that, but we talked about the fact that a lot of people somehow, don't always know about the first one, and they hear other people talk about it, and then, people think, well, I want to go partake in it. And so that's why the committee decided that 2 weeks apart would be good.
Mayor?
Yes.
With the steering committee, who would be the best up here to give a pretty broad overview of what they're accomplishing, just so the public can kind of hear what that's going to look like and what we hope to accomplish from listening to the steering committee? Is there anyone who would be the best? Councilmember Hunterlaw, being the chair of the downtown committee, you think you could summarize that for us?
Probably Eric, because he's more intimately familiar with the process of Mcbride and Dale.
Perfect.
It ideally would be Brian Laser, but he's not here.
Eric, could you do that? I mean, it doesn't have to be major detailed, but I mean, a broad stroke of it, just so, like I said, we're not sitting up here just saying, hey, but give the public some understanding that the steering committee, what they're doing, what we hope to gain from it, or what we hope to learn from it, that we can take it into committee and discuss further to get the public input and whatever else we might need to understand what's going on in our downtown.
I'll give you the broad and
That's all I need. I
brief
think
version.
that's all we all need.
Because this ultimately has to do with land use and zoning that ultimately could impact the whole community. It's important that, and I don't want to confuse this, and sometimes it does, with kind of a master planning or a visioning process. Most of this is technical work that gets into kind of the guts of zoning and regulatory, which isn't very compelling to most lay people, including me. But because it does have such broad impact, you need public buy-in, you need public engagement, because you're making decisions that impact how land use evolves in a community. And the steering committee was, one, intended to serve that purpose, make sure and get a broad selection throughout the community. I also keep in mind sometimes we confuse this as a downtown density. It's not. It's to implement what the voters approved, which is to change fundamentally what had been a restriction in our charter to allow different types of zoning at different levels of density. So the steering committee was meant to provide that public engagement, that public direction and input piece to what I'd call kind of the technicians that then turn that into regulatory language, into legal language. The steering committee, we looked at a broad selection of folks to serve kind of your standard community stakeholders, the schools, the businesses. We tried to look for diversity, even in individuals between age and business type. So you end up with a pretty diverse group of folks that are also busy that kind of learn the basics of what you're after, weigh in on what they think the community is after, what it would want in the future specific to that density issue. And then they're facilitated by the Mcbride Dale Clarion folks, and I can never get that right, who both facilitate and then kind of translate that into some workable mechanisms and ultimately regulations for zoning.
So is it fair to say it's probably smart to get the land use and zoning before we would go and put a comprehensive or any type of development downtown? Because we worked hard on issue 4, I know that, right? We worked hard on issue 4 to take care of the density and solve that issue or that problem. We were able to pass that, but then also looking at this, especially if it is land use and zoning, then I think it obviously makes a ton of sense to look at an expert's opinion on what can be done, what's smart to be done, where it's smart to develop. And I know it's not restricted just to downtown, but issue 4 was for our downtown overlay district, which is it's a big part of that, right?
And I think what I would say to your original question is this work that from the charter change needs to be completed and needs to be implemented if you're going to change anywhere in the city how zoning and how density is perceived. So yes, this is what that work leads to, is kind of the foundations of how you would imply a new way of thinking about density in the city as a whole.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
When did the process with Mcbride Dale Clarion begin?
Through the COVID time warp, so 2019.
About what time of year? I'm trying to remember.
You say later in the year, August, September.
So we're going on 2 years. Granted, COVID slows some things down, but I mean, it just seems like this is dragging on and on. And, we want to be able to accomplish some things while we're here, and the public has been asking for plans and information, and so I'm just anxious to wrap up the Mcbride Dale Clarion report. What about issue 4? When was that passed?
2018, I assume.
November of 2018. So, all right, we're closing in on 3 years since that was passed, and we don't have this done. So I'd like to see that progress quickly, as quickly as we can manage it. Okay, anything else about downtown committee?
Yes, so we also recommended, you forgot all your recommendations, TJ. We also recommended a master plan for the downtown, and we talked about hiring a downtown manager. We're still in talks with that, so we haven't really come to any conclusions, but that was what was discussed. We also talked about how, council keeps turning over and different council has different ideas and how that stalls the progress of downtown. And we talked about, we went through all of the different comprehensive plans that Ashley had mentioned from Loveland, Hamilton, Lebanon, I think Monroe. We briefly talked about that. We didn't talk enough about it, but we started to talk about it. And, in most of those, they had talked about having CDC being created, and how that organization kind of took over the development because switching over of council all the time makes it so it's not productive. And having an organization that doesn't have anything to do with that can keep all the historical knowledge and data, and how that would benefit our community, to have an organization like that kind of come in and take it over, kind of what the other cities have done. So we discussed that as well.
No, I think Diana covered that. Thank you for picking me up on that.
You're welcome.
All right, anything else from committee reports?
Do you want to talk about the Veterans Committee or? Okay. The Veterans Committee also met, and we basically were discussing the plans and what we were going to do for Memorial Day. And it was a very successful event, and it was beautiful. And we had David Hart speak. He's one of the founders of Blue Skies for the Good Guys and Gals Warrior Foundation. And what he said was very touching and very moving. And it was a beautiful event. We had it outside at the memorial, and it was just lovely. It was nice to see so many people there.
Yeah, Mayor, I would like to just say well done to the Veterans Committee. I thought it was understanding the parameters, what we had to deal with, but what they were able to accomplish. It was touching, it was moving. I think it had, it touched the heartstrings of a lot of people, especially, the purpose of what Memorial Day was. So good job on that, guys.
It was mostly the American Legion. I want to give them credit because it wasn't really the city, but
American Legion.
yes.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah.
The American Legion did a great job. It was a beautiful event. We had a beautiful day for it, too.
Speaking of the American Legion, we got to witness the changing of the commander the other night. And if anyone has an opportunity to check out the American Legion, if you can join, whatever it is, that was my father. He's a retired colonel in the Air Force. So I was able to get to see some of those different things. And it was just as, it was very ceremonial, very, lack of better terms, patriotic. And it was very cool to be there. And I wish I've been more involved in that and been able to see more of their operations and functions and what they do inside there. And I plan on doing that. So thank you for that invite. And I look forward to doing more with that organization because what they do is incredible. A lot of it is behind the scenes, but what they do for our veterans in this area is exceptional. So.
Hey, anything else?
I just want to say one more thing, employee relations meeting. We're going to be calling one, so just to stay tuned with your emails on the date.
All right, thank you very much. Item 18 is old and new business. Does anyone have any old and new business to share today?
Mayor? I do. So I've been following House Bill 110, which is the $75 billion state operating budget for the 2022-2023 year. House Bill 110 passed the Senate, but the House of Representatives didn't agree with the changes, and so now it has been sent to the conference committee. The legislature has until June 30th to send out the agreed-upon budget to the governor's desk so that it could be signed into law by July 1st. And I want to highlight a couple of the issues in the bill that impact our municipality. In the bill, the House of Representatives gave temporary authorization for public bodies to meet via electronic technology until December 31st, 2021. The Senate version of the bill deleted that language that was added by the House. The current authority will expire on July 1st without an extension by the legislature. So that will impact us directly here. The bill will also allow for municipalities to participate in the Treasury offset program. And this is a federal program whereby states have the ability to attach eligible debts from taxpayers who owe income taxes to their federal return. Municipalities will be able to participate in this as well through the Ohio Attorney General's office and effectively recover municipal revenues that is owed to them and in turn keep our taxes down. Local law enforcement funding will also benefit from House Bill 110. The budget currently allocates $15 million for a one-year police training pilot program to assist law enforcement agencies with training costs and also creates a 12-member law enforcement training funding safety commission to study possible long-term methods for providing state aid to help our local law enforcement to make sure that they have access to critical and timely training and that they're best equipped to serve and protect our community. The bill also has $10 million in grants for body cameras for local law enforcement agencies, $8 million to help reduce violent crimes, $1 million to support local agencies in recruiting and hiring, $6.5 million to expand the Ohio Narcotics Intelligence Center to further support local law enforcement and their partners. The budget also provides for the allocation of $1.5 million each fiscal year for the multi-agency radio communication system. local fee offset. This will ensure that many Ohio local first responders can remain in the program so that Ohio's safety forces are able to continue to communicate with one another across the state. And last, the budget will continue to fund the local government fund at the current statutory levels. And the funding is to continue for this, is a continuation of a state and local partnership. And if you remember earlier this year, we had, actually I think it was 2 years ago, we had concerns because the state had cut local government funding and it was directly impacting our municipalities. And so they raised it back and they're going to keep it at that level if this bill passes. So I will give you an update on our next meeting as to what passed and what we need to look out for.
Sounds like if this does pass as is, there might be some topics for discussion for our safety committee. All right, anything else in old and new business? Anyone? I'd just like to reiterate how much I enjoyed the Memorial Day service. It was truly lovely and very touching. And I was just thinking about the different things we were discussing with concerts at the plaza, July 3rd, fireworks, an upcoming Heritage Day festival, and all the things that we couldn't do last year, we can do this year. It looks like it's coming together. And I remember that phrase that our staff came up with, which was Mason comes together in 2020. And I'm glad that it happened in 2020 in so many ways, but it's going to happen physically in person in 2021, and I'm just so thankful for that. So we'll keep you guys posted on all the different events we have coming up, and I hope that everybody in Mason can come together with us. Anybody else for old and new business? Yes.
Councilman Mastricula is going to be a year older on Friday. So I figured I'd just throw that out there.
Is that considered old business?
Very old business. Actually, he's very young business, I think, compared to the rest of us. We're all jealous. All right, let's move on to visitors. That, I can't remember which item that is on the agenda, but I think it's item 19, recognition of visitors. Do we have any people that want to address us? Sir, come on up, state your name and address.
Hello, everyone. Mark Lortz. I live at 5145 Minuteman Court here in Mason. So, in observing the meeting, I'm very happy that there is limited argumenting tonight. So I commend you all for having a very civil meeting this evening. Also during the meeting, as pertains to what I want to talk to, it's good to see that Mason is supporting some businesses by allowing acquisition of land for use of expansion. So to that end, and I'm talking about the local national UDF, I have one question, or actually two. The first one is, has there been any thought or any further thought towards amending the plot of land behind the Common Beer Company to include the portion of land that we are asking to purchase from the city?
There's been no further discussion.
Okay. Thank you. And then the second one is, based on what you're seeing currently with the deal, is there any idea what the cost to the taxpayers will be for the piece of property or the deal being worked on with, I believe it's Cohen? Is there any idea of what the taxpayer will have to put forward for that deal at this point?
No.
I just didn't know how far along the deal, the negotiations had gone, and that's kind of what I'm asking.
The deal points nor analysis of that kind of cost benefit is not in place.
Okay. Those are the only two questions I had. Thank you very much.
In place.
In place. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, well, I guess that's all we have tonight for recognition of visitors. So with that, I think it's time for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
That motion?
Second.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.